Hello everybody, hope you are all well. How are you doing today? Hope you are all good. Hi, hello everybody. Hi Quentin, hi Sebastian, hi Alam, hi Felix. Yes, I'm very good. Hi Christoph. Hope you're all well today. So lots of familiar faces. If anybody's new, feel free to type in the chat and say hello. Don't be shy. Hi Stephanie, hi Sophie, hi Diamala, hi Laurence, Mary Ellen, Richard, hi. Yes, I'm good. Thank you for asking. Okay, so today we are starting the new series, our new season of lessons. So the topic will be breaking the ice. So the next few lessons will have to do with everything related to breaking the ice. Thank you very much, Sophie. Good to see you as well. So today the subject is being polite. So before we can break the ice, before we actually start having conversations with people and trying to start conversations, make friends, these type of things, first we need to review how to be polite. So being polite is a very big thing in English. So obviously in French, you obviously have the tu and the vous. So being polite means that you can simply change the subject and this is your way of being polite. But often in English, what we need to do is we kind of have to add more layers. We have to use slightly different words in order to be polite. So I have a starter question for you all. So let's imagine at the moment it's very hot today, especially if you are in Paris. So imagine it's hot and you want your colleague to open the window. So could you write an example sentence of how you could ask your colleague to do this? So try to write an example sentence that is as polite as possible. So I'll give you a few seconds to write some example sentences. Okay, so Sophie, may I open the window? Yes, if you want to open the window, you could ask that. Yes. Can you open the window, please? Would you mind opening the door, please? The window, yes. Do you mind if I open the window? Great. You guys have some really good answers there. Nice. So, yes. Great. So, what I will do is I'm going to go through some different ways that you can ask for something from somebody else. So firstly, we'll start with this example about the opening the window. So when you are asking somebody to do something for you, I would say it is best to avoid the word can. So in English, when we use the word can, it's most often used when we want to talk about somebody's ability to do something. So can you speak Spanish, for example? So this is about ability. So if you say to somebody, can you open the window? It sounds a little bit like, are you strong enough to open the window? Are you able to do it? So of course, so in some contexts, it might sound a little bit rude. So usually when you are asking somebody to do something for you, it's best to avoid can. So slightly more polite would be to use could. So as a native English speaker, for me, this is the lowest level of politeness if I ask for could. So can, I avoid. Could is better. And some of you guys gave some really good examples, which I would more naturally use. So one of the constructions that one of you gave, which was really good, was would you mind? And so this is very polite and this is very nice. So it's really important to remember that when you say, would you mind, that the verb after is ing. So the example here is, would you mind opening the window, please? So when you say it in this way, you are trying to say to your colleague, if it doesn't bother you, if it's not too much trouble, or I'm not asking too much. So this is what the meaning is behind it. So it's a very polite way, a nice way of asking this. Similarly, another example which someone else gave, which was great. Do you mind? So do you mind is similar. And again, you also need to use ing if you're going straight into the verb. Do you mind opening the window? So that's directly towards the person, asking them to do it. So the example that Marie-Hélène gave is also great as well. Do you mind if I open the window? So if you add the if, then it just becomes a normal sentence again. So great, perfect, that's really good. So something else that you could do to make it more polite, again, in English, it's very common to apologize even if you did nothing incorrect. So you could say one of these sentences with sorry, then add, sorry, could you open the window, please? Sorry, would you mind opening the window? Yes, exactly. Great, nice. So the point that you've just made, Sylvie, may I, that's great. So when you want to ask if you can do something, so instead of asking somebody else to do something, it's you asking permission to do something. And may I is the most polite version of that, and it's really good to ask. So if you are unsure about something, for example, imagine you are in a meeting, but you have another appointment, you have another place to be, you could say, may I please leave, for example. This is a polite way to ask. Another way you could also ask for something is, would it be okay? And maybe if. So when we spoke about the window example before, you could also say this, would it be okay if I open the window? Because you do not want to disturb your colleague, for example. Yes, great, perfect. So it would be great if you guys could write some example sentences. So imagine that you want to ask a colleague, a friend, or a family member something, or maybe you want to ask permission to be able to do something. So it would be great if you could all participate and all write an example sentence for this, given with the feedback that I have already said, with the tips I gave. So the main thing I'm looking for is don't use can. So it would be good if you could use the could, would you mind, do you mind, or may I examples. So I look forward to reading your sentences. So Christoph, great. Would it be okay if I drive your car? Okay, so this is like the type of question that you might ask your partner, for example. Maybe you want to borrow their car. Exactly, great. Sylvie, great. That's a really nice addition that you've added there, if it doesn't bother you. That's great, exactly. So you could also add that, you could put those two sentences together. So Christoph's sentence and Sylvie's sentence, if it doesn't bother you, would it be okay if I drive your car? That's super, super polite. And it's something a British person would definitely say. Quentin, very nice. Sorry, do you mind if I smoke? That's very nice. You're asking the other person for their permission in a way. So it's very considerate of the other person. So that's really nice. Great. Sorry, would you mind if I phone my boss? Yes, Sophie, perfect. Nice, great. Okay, Sebastian, May I please take your phone? Yes, exactly. So take sounds a little bit like you want to take it for a long time. So maybe if you want to borrow it, if you want to just use it for a little bit, maybe you could say, may I please use your phone? If it's just for 5 minutes because you want to make a phone call. Alam, great. Would you mind if I take a break now? Yes, that's great. Sebastian, sorry, do you mind shooting the duck? Okay. So you are scared to shoot the duck, or you want somebody else to take responsibility. So Muriel, please, can I write with your pen? So instead of saying can, I would replace it with could and change it a little bit. So could I please write with your pen, just to make it a little bit more polite. Rosanna, good. Excuse me, may I leave the meeting? Yes, that's perfect. That's very polite. Mary Ellen, would it be okay if I leave the family party? Yes, exactly. Great. All of your contributions were really good. Thank you all so much. Laurence, may I please bring my notes? Yes. Sylvie, if it's not a problem, could I call you? That's really nice and it's really polite. So this, if it's not a problem, this thing that you could put at the beginning, this is really great. This is really nice touch. Very British, very polite and nice. Okay, so now let's move on to replying politely. So obviously somebody asks you a question and you want to respond in a way that is polite. So if you say yes, for example, it's okay to say yes, but maybe you want to add some additional information to the yes. So, Sebastian, do you mind dancing with me? So I could reply to that and I could say, yes, certainly. Yes. Alam, yes. So for example, if somebody says, do you have a pen? Then you could respond with, yes, I do. This could be a response. Yes, Mary Helen, yes. So for example, when I spoke about the window, would you mind opening the window? You could respond, yes, no problem, because it's no problem to open the window. Another example, yes, of course. So yes, these are some, yes, Amuria, yes, I can dance with you. So it's important when being polite to expand your answer. So Alam, the phrase for sure, you would translate it into French as bien sûr. So yes. So yes, it's really important to expand. So in English, we do probably talk a lot more because expanding the sentence makes it more and more polite. So Rosanna, that's a very good question. So the meaning of mind. If you mind, so mind is like to not, if it doesn't disturb you. And with this phrase, would you mind? It's just the rule that when you use a verb after, it is ing. So good question. So in English, we have a lot of phrases where when you use the verb after it, it must end in ing. It must end in a gerund. So when you say, would you mind, you are saying to the person, is it okay if I do this thing? Is there a problem for you if I do this thing? And most people will say, for example, I don't mind. So there is no problem. It is not an issue for me. So I hope that answers your question, Rosanna. So yes, so Richard, yes, my dear. So if you say yes, my dear, this is normally for somebody you are extremely close with. So probably your partner, your wife, your girlfriend. Maybe you might say it to a female child. But yes, you need to have a very intimate and close relationship with that person. And yet, so Sophie, yes, with pleasure, exactly. And Sylvie, yes, no problem. Yes, those are great ways to answer. So alam, so if it disturbs me, can I answer it, mind me? So we can't say it like that. And usually we don't use the word disturb in this sense. It's more natural in English to use the word mind instead of disturb. Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to move on to some questions. So again, it would be great to have all of your participation. So let's imagine this first scenario. So it's happened to all of us before. Maybe you need to leave work early because of a doctor's appointment. So how do you express this to your manager? So I assume that most of you do not leave work without communicating this with your boss. So what is a nice, polite way of telling your boss that you need to leave work early? So I'll wait for some of your answers. So Christoph, thank you very much. Do you mind if I leave early today? Great. So, do you mind if I leave early today? That's how you could write that. Great, exactly. Sophie, nice. I am sorry, but may I leave early today? Yes, great, with the adding the apology at the beginning as well. Quentin, sorry, I have a medical appointment. Do you mind if I leave earlier today? So with the word early, it becomes earlier. And also just be careful with your spelling of the word appointment as well. Good. So Mary-Hélène, may I leave earlier? I have an appointment with my doctor. So I would just reverse it. Normally we would say what it is and then ask the question. And also so it becomes two separate sentences. I have an appointment with my doctor, full stop. May I leave earlier? Question mark. Good. Sylvie, I have an appointment at the doctor. Is it possible to leave earlier today? Yes. And again, I would just make that two separate sentences. So you put a full stop after doctor. Great. Sebastian, sorry, may I leave early today? I have a medical appointment. Yes, great, perfect. Again, just be careful with your spelling of the word appointment in English. Good. Nadia, please, can I leave my work early today? So instead of using can, I would use could. And you can say, could I leave work? So it doesn't have to be my work. You just say work. Great. Muriel, I'm sorry, but I must leave earlier today. So I would change it a little bit and just say, may I leave work earlier today? So if you are asking for permission, you can use may I instead of can I. So this is a more polite way to do this. Great, perfect. So Laurence, would you mind leaving work earlier, please, because I have an appointment with my doctor? So I would say there, would you mind if I leave earlier? Because would you mind leaving means the other person is leaving. So it means you are asking your manager to leave earlier. So if you're asking the other person, it's would you mind, and then you say leaving or going, so it's them. But if it's you would say, would you mind if I do this thing? So hope that's clear. So would you mind, and then the ing with the verb is the other person does the thing. And would you mind if I, it's you want to do the thing. So I hope that's clear. Great. Thank you all so much for your participation. Those were all really great sentences. So now we're going to have a new scenario. So it's time to get typing again. So imagine you would like your colleague to send you a specific document. So how do you ask your colleague for this document? So it would be great to get your sentences there. So, looking forward to reading what you guys are going to write. So, would you ask your colleague for a specific document? Let's see the first sentence. So remember to be polite when asking for this. So Quentin, thank you very much. Sorry, would you mind sending me the special file? Yes, exactly. You're very specific with it. Mary Helen, please, I would like you send me this document. So yes, you could say, I would like you to send me this document. You could say this, yes. Christoph, could you send me this document, please? Yes. Please, can you send an important document for me? So Nadija, instead of using can, it's more polite to use could in this instance. So Caroline, yes, could you please send me the document? So without the you, could you please send me the document? So Sophie, would you mind if you send me the specific document? So Sophie, with this one you could say, would you mind sending me a specific document? So would you mind sending me a specific document? Because you are asking directly for the person, so you would use the ing there. So good. Oh, Sylvie, lovely. When you have a moment, so you're thinking about the consideration of their time, can you email me these documents? Instead of can, it's better to use could, but really good job with the phrase at the beginning. Laurence, could you please send this document? Yes, great. Rosanna, may I have this document, please? Yes, that's very nice. Could you please send me an important document? Yes, just always make sure if you have a word that has a vowel that you add the an, so an important document. But yes, good job, Muriel. So Sebastian, would you mind sending me the document, please? Great. Nice, great. So those are all really good sentences. Just one very small thing, if you notice, when I write questions in English, we do not put a space after the question mark. So in English, with all punctuation, so if we think about a question mark or we think about an exclamation mark, we do not need a space. So in French, you use a space, but in English, we don't use a space. So just think about that when you are when you're writing in English, that you don't need this little space here as well. Okay, great. So thank you all so much for those. So I'll have a final question for you. So let's imagine that you have an event. So maybe it's something like maybe it is a conference with work, maybe it's an after work or something like that. And you are unsure if a colleague will attend the event. Maybe you want to ask your colleague about it. So how could you ask your colleague if they are going to go to the event? So in a polite way, what could you say to them? So think it shouldn't be too direct, because obviously being too direct in English could be seen as rude, and maybe even if it's a colleague that you are not very close with as well. So it would be great to see some of your example sentences. So maybe I will also write an example sentence myself. So Alam, would you mind going to the event of tomorrow? If you ask this to your colleague, you are asking them if they will go to the event with you, as if you want to bring them to the event. So it's like you want them to participate in the event. You can ask this to them if you want, or if there is a specific reason for them to be at the event. But yes. So Marie-Hélène, yes. Do you intend to go to this event? Yes, that is a nice way of asking that. Yes, please, would you attend to the office on Sunday? Okay, so you're asking your colleague if they could work on, they're going to work on a different day. So you could say that, could you come to the office? So if you want them to work an extra day, for example. Yes, you could say that to them. Yes. Yes, so Rosanna, would you mind coming to the event next week? And just be careful of the spelling of coming as well. Sebastian, you are asking your colleague if they want to go to the cinema with you. Could you come to the cinema tonight? So you want to do like an activity with them. So Sophie, please, would you attend the office this evening? So maybe a way you could say is, would you mind attending the after work, or would you mind attending the network event if you want them to participate, for example? So if you want them to actively participate in this after work or networking event, this is something you could say to them. Maybe their participation is important to this event, for example. Or you could say, may I ask, will you attend the event? So when we say an event, we're talking about something after work, not necessarily something in the office. So, hello Paige, hi, no problem for being late. So it's no problem at all. So you can obviously watch the YouTube live later as well, after we have finished, so you can catch up, and you can also read the chat as well. Okay, so let's finish. So we just have a few minutes left. So let's, it'll be great if you can all write an example sentence. So think of the next situation where you need to ask a polite question. So it would be, so whether after the YouTube live, maybe you will ask your wife or your husband, maybe you will talk to your friend, maybe you will talk to your colleague tomorrow. So it'd be great if you could write an example sentence just to finish off. So Lawrence, would you mind if we go to an event together? Perfect, exactly. You're asking the other person if they want to go to an event together. So Alam, would you mind doing another lesson next Tuesday? So no problem. Of course, I will be here next Tuesday. So great. So that's a promise. I will be here next Tuesday. For any of you who joined the future lesson, going to. So it's a will. So Mary-Ellen, do you mind me smoking? Yes, that's very considerate and polite to the other person. So, Sophie, it seems you're speaking to your partner. Honey, would you mind cooking the dinner? Yes, exactly. So, great, nice. So you see, you can integrate all of these polite phrases in your life. So whether you are talking to your partner, whether you are talking to your colleague, or especially when you are talking to new people. So when you are breaking the ice with people that you do not know, it's extremely important to use these type of sentences, because you want to make a nice first impression. So in English, we say that first impressions count. So it means that it's very important. So Evelyn, may I ask you if you could send me the lesson, please? Great. So that's like asking your teacher to send you that. Yes, great. Vanessa, would you mind changing from Tuesday to Wednesday? So changing the YouTube lessons from Tuesday to Wednesday. Unfortunately, Tuesday is the day we have chosen. So sorry about that, Christoph. But we thank you very much for your feedback on that. So we will take it into consideration for future lessons. So thank you. Would you mind going to the restaurant? So maybe you're going to ask your partner or a friend if they would like to go to the restaurant. Great, perfect, nice. So you all came up with some really good example sentences, and I would encourage you to try and use these as much as possible moving forward. So for example, in your English lesson, for example, when you want to ask your trainer for something, try to use these phrases. I'm sure they will be impressed and they will say, where did you learn this from? Okay, so that's it for today. So thank you all so much for your participation. It has been a pleasure, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.